Today on Outdoor Oklahoma, catching a fish on a jig or a fly that you made yourself can be a special experience. But did you know you can also make your own soft plastic lures? Then we'll try our luck fishing on Pine Creek Lake, right now on Outdoor Oklahoma. Well, hello and welcome to Outdoor Oklahoma. I'm Todd Craighead. You know, every time I get out this particular set of lures, it always brings back a lot of memories because each one of these was made by someone special to me. But it's typically this type of tackle you think about when you talk about homemade tackle. It's either tying your own flies for panfish or trout, or maybe making your own topwaters or crankbaits for bass. But do you ever think about actually making at home your own soft baits? Well, today we're going to visit with a fella that does just that.
Well, I got into making soft plastic baits. I saw it in a magazine, the molds you can make. I do a lot of bass fishing, I always have, and I like anything that involves doing it yourself. You get out there, have some fun, the gratification of catching something off something you made very cheaply compared to going to the store and buying $10 lures. And you know, it's fun getting out at the lake and catching fish with soft plastics that you've made yourself. Well, the kit I'm using here is a starter kit, very basic. It gets you into the molds of making your own worms, and it's a single colored mold. You can't really do the laminate two colors, which, you know, you do one pressing at a time. You can eventually move up to aluminum molds to where you can press more than one worm or swim bait at a time. You can get into the laminate ones where you're pressing two colors, and so far I've mainly done swim baits, 6-inch curly tail worms, and a couple of different style craw baits. But yeah, I've caught fish using my own soft plastics. It's fun to be out fishing ponds or lakes, and when you go to string up, get your bait ready, and you're pulling out something that you have made, your color that you've chose for particular lakes. It's fun, and when you catch something, it really makes it worthwhile. The hour or two that you spend just messing around to fill up some time it's a good time. First, you start off with your mold. This is a 6-inch curly tail worm. You separate it. You put in some Crisco oil or anything like that to keep it from sticking to the mold, and you have your plastic. Comes white. You have to shake it vigorously to get it good and mixed up so your product is good and solid. And when you cook it, it'll become a clearer color, more like a syrup, and then you know you're ready. And after you get it to that consistency, you can start adding your colors, like an electric blue, or you can start mixing colors. You can take this orange fluorescent chartreuse. You can start adding different glitters, you know, black, silver. I mean, they got every color of glitter imaginable. Mix it up, get it to where you want. It's best to start light on the color first, because you can never go back when you go too dark. And if you don't like the result, you can take your worm, put it back in your mix, heat it back up, put more color in, and start all over. Okay, get your molds set up and ready to go. Don't over tighten the wing nuts because they will strip out the bolt. Okay, next you get a little cooking cup, measuring cup, something that can handle the heat, that won't burn your hand. I mean, you can get it hot. It'll get hot, but it won't damage. And you just shake up your plastic really good, make it sure it's good and shaken up. 2 ounces makes you probably quite a few worms. You don't need to go put a whole lot, and you just start off in the microwave. Let's just go 1.5 minutes to get it started. Get your dye, make sure it's a good pair of gloves to so whenever you're handling your plastic and stuff, it gets extremely hot. You don't want it to get on you and burn. You know, there's better quality gloves than this, but you can tell it's not completely clear yet. Still pretty thick, but it's good to let it heat up, kind of mix it up a little bit. Put it back in for probably an additional minute. Okay, you can see it's a clearer consistency now and more like a syrup. And let's get through. You can mix it up again, and my table is sliding everywhere. Turn it this way. Just get a good mix. It sticks to the side, no big deal. You just take whatever color you decide. Start with just a little bit. Well, there we go. It's kind of taking on a good color. You can kind of pour it like that, and you can see it kind of lets you see how light the color is. And get your plunger. Just gonna fill it up about 3/4 of the way, maybe a little bit more. Plunger in there, set it vertical, and there we go. Push it through all the way till it hits the reservoir tip. Just hold it in place and let it cool down. Leave it vertical while it's drying or cooling down. Give it a couple of minutes to cool down, and that allows you to remove it without it being hot and burn you. Just pinch off the excess, put it back with your other plastic so you can use it. This one we can see had a bunch of extra flashing. You can just grab that and peel that right off. There you go.
You know, all this talk about using homemade tackle has got me thinking this is a perfect day for me to try this baby out. Hey, we're going to actually be fishing with Pat right after this week's Outdoor News Report. You know, I've fished this pond a lot through the years, and I really honestly tell you, my favorite thing is to fish a brand new place I've never been before. And today, Pat Fleming's going to have a chance to do just that. He's going to head down to Pine Creek in southeast Oklahoma and get shown the ropes on a brand new lake by our own Dakota Christian.
My name's Kyle James. I'm the Southeast Fisheries Biologist for the Wildlife Department. My office is in Higgins, which is east of Hartshorn. We're here at Pine Creek Lake today, which is one of the 5 major reservoirs that I manage in the southeast corner of the state. Pine Creek Reservoir is popular with bass tournaments. The Pushmataha County Sportsman's Club, they hold their big bass rodeo there every summer. It's not uncommon to see 20+ pound stringers. It's a productive lake. We get good survival and growth from our largemouth bass.
Just caught the first fish in 3 casts. Not a big one, but still fun.
When they get out here and school up on these spots like this, if you can catch 1 or 2 decent ones, usually it'll fire the school up, and then you'll catch several right behind it. But it's the important one's that first one to get them fired up. They just got through spawning, so they're starving pretty much. And that's all they're doing, sitting out here trying to get an easy meal, gorging, and trying to regain all their strength from spawning because they're so stressed out. And this is a hard time of year on fish too. As far as tournaments and stuff, it's good to keep ice that you can put in the live well to cool the water off, or they make some stuff called Stay Alive to put in there or rejuvenate to help keep them alive, because it's easy, they'll die easy this time of year if you don't take care of them because they're so stressed out. I actually grew up right down the road from Pine Creek Lake. I've been fishing it for 29 years.
Didn't get the hook set good. Homemade lure, almost got one.
We went out on Pine Creek Lake this afternoon trying to catch a few fish. Was hoping they'd be out deep, 8 to 15 foot, schooled up offshore. We started out throwing big crankbaits, 10-inch worms, A-rigs, but the lake had come up 3 feet overnight due to 5 inches of rain, and so we had to move shallow. Moving shallow was the right call. We started catching fish on topwater right off the bat. Caught a couple really nice fish, and we caught them that way until dark. 5 inches of rain since last night, and so far since I checked the lake levels this morning, it's came up 2 feet. Basically it's coming up 1/10 of a foot every hour, so it'll come up a foot every hour right now with the inflow that's coming in. And a lot of times when the lake comes up, sometimes your deeper fish will stay put and you can catch them, but a lot of times they'll go shallow and they'll get in the edge of the bushes.
Yeah, Dakota showed me a lot about bass fishing on the lake. He's very familiar with the lake. He does a lot of bass tournaments around here and does well. And, you know, being out on the lake with him was a good experience, you know, for fishing this part of the state. And like I said, he showed me a lot of things, where to fish and how to fish, and it was a good day. On the first day we got here, we got out in the evening time, did a little fishing, you know, kind of showing us around. And, you know, we caught a few fish. Dakota got a nice one in, and it was a fun little trip around the lake.
We've been stocking Florida largemouth bass in Pine Creek for years for the potential to raise trophy-sized bass there. We'd get good genetic return there, and we go back and fin clip the fish to test their genetics. We recently stocked 60,000 there this spring 2014.
What size was that? It's a fish.
When Dakota offered to take Pat out again the next day, he didn't have to twist his arm too hard.
The next morning, it's overcast so far this morning. It's 8:39. The lakes came up about 4 foot in the last couple of nights due to all the rain we've had. So now that the water's in the grass, we're trying to catch a few on top water, chasing bait fish in the grass. Wind's supposed to blow 10 to 15 today. Hopefully it'll push some fish up on some banks. Well, this morning we got out around 7:30. It was mostly cloudy this morning right off the bat. Ended up clearing off for the most part. We've got a few clouds. The winds blew 10 to 15 miles an hour. It's been a pretty cool day for June here in Southeast Oklahoma. Around 80 degrees. The fish have all been shallow. The water temperature on the lake had dropped about 6 degrees due to the rain and the lake coming up.
Catching any fish is fun, whether regardless of 1, 2, 10 fish. You know, we had a good day, and you know, we pulled some in, and once again got to cruise around a very beautiful lake.
Caught it on a 1/2 ounce swim jig, white and chartreuse. Enjoyed Pat coming down and going out on the lake with me. I enjoy showing people around, trying to show them a good time, especially in an area that they're not familiar with and haven't been to before.
Pine Creek Lake's only about 3,700 surface acres. It's one of the smaller lakes managed by the Corps of Engineers. It has a narrow river channel marked with navigational buoys, so if you come to visit us here, just keep that in mind and come have a good time, experience Southeast Oklahoma, and be safe.
One of the reasons that I'm so fond of Pine Creek, besides catching a lot of bass that are really nice most of the time, is it's not near as crowded. You're going to see your people out on the lake tubing and fishing and, you know, just out boating, but it doesn't get near as much pressure as lakes like Broken Bow Lake. Broken Bow Lake with Beavers Bend State Park, it's the #1 state park in the state of Oklahoma, and it gets a lot of people over there, especially in the summer when everybody's out of school. Pine Creek doesn't get that kind of pressure. There's no state park here, but there are 4 camping areas throughout the lake from one end to the other for people to come camp and have a good time and do some fishing or swimming.
Yeah, and when we first pulled up, also it's like you're in another state. You know, it's like you're almost in Arkansas or somewhere else. It's very nice, and you know, it's a lot different than being in the city.
Even though this trip on Pine Creek didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted it to, I'm glad Pat got to come down. We still had a great day, even though the conditions weren't what we wanted, we ended up making the best out of it, and we caught fish and both had a good time, and hopefully he'll get to come back when the water level gets normal and we can try the offshore fishing again.
I highly recommend anybody who's wanting to camp somewhere different, go to Southeast Oklahoma. You know, there's 3 good lakes here, but Pine Creek, you should come camp out, dedicate a few days, and just enjoy everything that's out here. Well, Dakota, I appreciate you taking me out on Pine Creek Lake. It's a beautiful lake, fun fishing. Wish conditions were better, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yep, no problem. I enjoyed it.
You know, there's always something exciting about fishing a brand new spot. And if you've never been to Pine Creek, well, take it from me, it's well worth the trip. Hey, thanks for joining us today. For all of us at your wildlife department, we'll see you right here next time on Outdoor Oklahoma.